Alright, in this video we're looking at factoring special patterns. And two specific patterns we're going to look at today are called the sum of cubes and difference of cubes. You already know how to factor one type of special pattern, and that's a difference of squares. Sum of cubes and difference of cubes are new. Okay, so let's start with sum of cubes. So what this says is if I have some number cubed plus another number cubed, so I have a sum of cubes, this will always factor into this form. It'll be a factor a plus b times another factor a squared minus ab plus b squared. So let's look at an example of a sum of cubes and see how we can factor it. So say we have x cubed plus 125. X cubed plus 125, this is a sum of two cubes, therefore I can factor it. So what I notice is that, okay, the first number cubed, my a value is x. So I'm going to write this as x cubed. And then my b value, so I say what to the third power is 125? Well, that's 5. So my a value is x, my b value is 5. So now I can factor this. It's going to be the a value plus the b value, so it's going to be x plus 5 times a squared, so x squared, minus ab, so that's minus x times 5, well x times 5 is 5x, plus b squared, well my b value is 5, so plus 5 squared is 25. There you go. So I was able to factor x cubed plus 125 into x plus 5 times x squared minus 5x plus 25. So that was one example. Let's do another one. Let's do 27y cubed plus 64. Okay, 27y cubed plus 64, this is also a sum of cubes because 27y cubed is a perfect cube and so is 64. Meaning I can rewrite 27y cubed as something cubed. Well, that would be 3y. 3y to the third power is 27y cubed plus what cubed is 64? 4. So my a value is 3y, my b value is 4. So I can go ahead and factor this now. And we look at our pattern, so it's going to be a plus b, so 3y plus 4. And then a squared, well 3y squared is 9y squared. Minus a times b, so 3y times 4 is 12y. And then b squared, so 4 squared is 16. There we have it. So this is the factored form here. And if you don't believe me, you can go ahead and distribute. If you multiplied 3y plus 4 times 9y squared minus 12y plus 16, you would end up with 27y cubed plus 64. Okay, let's look at examples of difference of cubes. So it's a very similar formula, very similar pattern, I should say. So if you have some value cubed minus another value cubed, so notice this is a difference minus of two cubes, it's always going to factor to this pattern, a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So notice these patterns are very similar. For a sum of cubes you have a plus b, for a difference of cubes you have a minus b. For a sum of cubes it's a squared minus ab. For a difference of cubes it's a squared plus ab. Okay, so you'll have to memorize these patterns. Okay, let's do a couple of examples just like we did before. Okay, so an example of difference of cubes, let's do w squared minus 8. This is a difference of cubes. Oh, sorry, w cubed. This is a difference of cubes. I have a perfect cube minus a perfect cube. So I'm going to rewrite this as w cubed, so I know my a value is w, minus what cubed is 8? 2. So my a value is w, my b value is 2. So now I can throw this into the pattern. So it's a minus b, w minus 2, a squared, w squared, plus ab, well, w times 2 is 2w, plus b squared. So plus 2 squared is 4. There you go, it's factored. Last example. 64x cubed minus 1. Okay, this is another example of a difference of cubes. Let's figure out what our a value is and our b value. So we have to say what cubed is 64x cubed? That's 4x. And what cubed is 1? Well, 1 cubed is 1. So my a value is 4x, my b value is 1. So I can throw this into the pattern, factor it. A minus b, 4x minus 1. A squared. 4x squared is 16x squared plus ab. 4x times 1 is just 4x. Plus b squared, well 1 squared is just 1. There you go. So we've factored sum and differences of cubes. I think the most important part, the hardest part, is recognizing that indeed you have a sum or difference of cubes. For example, here, you need to see that 27y cubed plus 64 is indeed a sum of cubes. Once you know it's a sum of cubes, then it's pretty easy to throw it into the pattern.